Welcome to What the Health? The podcast where real people from all walks of life share their insights, struggles, successes and breakthroughs in health, fitness and life in general. This isn't just about workouts and diets, it's about building a stronger, healthier future in every part of your life whilst having a laugh in the process.
Hello, so before we start this week's episode, if you listened to last week's episode, just give you the answer to Ian's statement. So his true statement was that he requested a pint and a bin bag at the highest pub in Britain. So the false statements were the watermelon and the Wii Fit. So there you go. And on to this week's episode with Jack. Hello, welcome to this week's episode. This is called Pacing the Race. Jumping on the game train with Jack Noon. Welcome, Jack.
Hello.
How are you?
All good, thank you.
Good to hear. Thanks for joining us for the episode.
Thanks for having me.
Just so the listeners can find out a little bit more about you, let us know a bit of information about you. So if you had to describe yourself on a dating website,
Oh God,
what would you say?
Well, I'm Jack. I'm 30 years old. I've got 2 young children. I work for BT as a networks engineer, and I train at Superhero Fitness, and that's the majority of my life. So I probably have to put that on there as well.
Fantastic. You'll get loads of people message you if they read that. So today we are going to be talking to Jack regarding his fitness journey, about competitions, from home to gym life, and then from gym to competing in competitions, such as Hyrox, which will be the main subject of today. So what's your journey, Jack, from going into a gym, then moving on to competitions?
So I've been sort of around gym for a fair while. I'd say when I was sort of 16, 17, was when I first ever set foot in a gym. But it was very on and off. And I had really no clue what I was doing. When I was younger, I used to race motocross, and I did up until I was sort of in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And that was actually my main driver for coming to Superhero. I started training with, obviously, yourself, PT.
Yeah, I remember when you joined, you were doing your motocross, and you were in specific training towards improving your motocross performance.
Yeah. So that was sort of my main goal at the time, the main thing I did growing up. And then since being here, I mean, I stopped racing probably around 3-4 years ago now.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. But one of those reasons being that I found sort of a lot of other things within fitness.
Yeah. Such as
Hyrox, functional fitness competitions, the community of the gym in itself. I sort of had a time where I was obviously here for another reason initially, for racing at the weekends, etc. And I got to a point where I found that I was enjoying what I was doing in here more than I was when I was on the bike.
Yeah. And
I had a few sort of weekends on the bounce with that, thinking, sort of, why am I doing this? I'd rather just be at the gym. And that was sort of the path to then go into these other things. So
you were doing motocross, and then you started doing more fitness competitions. Do you remember your first fitness competition that you done? You got into?
I think it was the Suffolk Games, the team event, the summer team event, the outdoor one. And I actually got sort of roped into that off a team member being injured, and I had no idea what it was or what was in for me. People said, would you be up for it? And I said, well, I'm free. So actually, no, that's a lie. I wasn't free. I was supposed to go somewhere, and my girlfriend at the time got very annoyed with me because I cancelled to go and do that instead. I thought it'd be more fun. We're not together anymore.
That's great commitment. Great commitment for the community.
Yeah, exactly that.
How did you find that competition, the first one?
Yeah, it was good fun. It was hard.
Was it what you expected it to be?
Well, I had no clue. So yeah, I guess so. No, it was good. I think it helped being in a team setting, with people I knew. We obviously had quite a few teams go, and we made a day of it. And it was hard work. My fitness definitely wasn't up to it really at the time, but we sort of muscled through it.
How long were you going to the gym before you went onto your first fitness competition at that stuff again? So you've been doing gym from the 16 onwards, but when you started doing regular, doing regular training?
So regular training, probably only about 6 months.
Yeah.
And then, I got sort of thrown into it. And I think that throwing myself into it when it was really going to be really difficult, because like I say, my fitness probably wasn't where it would have been to be like competitive, you know. I think that actually helped with the ongoing stuff, because then you come out of it thinking, I'm not as fit as I thought I was. I want to get a bit better. So that was a good side of it. But
on the flip side, obviously you've done it as well, so hopefully you found it quite an achievement in terms of like you just throwing yourself into it.
Competed.
Absolutely. So obviously you weren't at the level that you wanted to be as such, and you could be better, but at the same time you're more than capable than competing.
And everyone's different, aren't they? Like I think what that also did, which is a positive thing, is open my eyes to that I am quite a competitive person. So then realizing that these sort of events and stuff I can channel that a bit to improve my sort of own life, if you like, and improve myself, rather than just, not just motocross, but other sports I've done in the past where it's been quite difficult and quite, you get a bit downtrodden by not doing very well. At least I was sort of able to keep going with this, and just enjoy the process of it, as opposed to just having rubbish results and then.
And I and quite a few people will know that you are quite competitive with yourself. As I've had some fun emotions and experiences. I want to come back into your background in terms of going into the Hyrox competitions a bit more, but I'm going to quickly go through a quick fire round, just so people get to know you even better before we go into a bit more of a discussion. So are you ready for this? Do you know how quickfire works? I'm going to ask you a question. Try not to think too much. Instantly or instinctively try and answer as quick as you can, so we can move on to the next one. Ready?
Go.
Favourite exercise?
Back squat.
Biggest gym pet hate?
I don't have one.
Best advice you've heard?
Advice I've heard: go slow to go fast.
Cardio or weights?
Cardio.
Hyrox or CrossFit?
Hyrox.
Hyrox, so. One thing about you?
Thing about me?
Yeah.
I'm too competitive.
Too competitive. Most embarrassing moment? This could be from any part of your life.
This was in the gym, when you lifted a failed back squat off my back when I was quite new to the gym, and basically just curled it back onto the rack.
That can be Darren was my most proudest thing. Flip that for me. Biggest regret?
Biggest regret. No, don't have one.
Don't have one yet. If you could train with any celebrity, dead or alive, who could it be?
Any celebrity? Oh God, no. Come back to it.
What's your superpower?
My superpower? Consistency.
Consistency, that's a good superpower. Would you train topless or commando?
Topless.
Would you rather poo or vomit in a class?
Vomit.
Vomit. Sweet. There we go.
That long to answer that one. Should I? That's a bit.
No, that was it. That was that'd be my answer as well. Lovely job. Let's move back to you then a bit more in terms of talking about your training. Why did you commit to doing your first Hyrox? You've done, how many Hyroxes have you done now?
I have done 9.
No, have you? 9, is it?
Yeah,
9.
2 in the book. So committed to my first Hyrox. You came across it, didn't you, initially? when it first sort of started to get big or bigger. And we were talking about it during our PTs I was having for my motocross at the time. And I think I was just in that phase, like I mentioned before, of sort of falling out of love a little bit with racing motorbikes, and was probably looking for something else. And I had no idea what it was. You were just talking gibberish to me, to be honest. And there was running involved and something else. And I was like, right, what are we talking about?
So I'm out.
So yeah, it was literally, I just said, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Intrigued enough to give it a go?
Yeah,
see what it's all about.
And then obviously, you know, once you commit to something, you sort of look a bit more into it. And I thought, okay, it sounds quite interesting.
Yeah.
At the time, whilst I could run, I'd never really run that far before.
Yeah.
I'd do like the odd 5K, you know, like that sort of thing. And I was generally sort of healthy, but I wasn't a runner by any stretch.
No.
And when I first signed up and then found out what it was, I genuinely didn't believe I would finish it. But I thought, well, we'll just go and try and see what's what. But
how did you find it? Yeah, first one that you done? Was it a shock to the system?
It was a massive shock to the system. I think by the time we got there, because we'd signed up and then obviously tailored the training enough that going into it, I knew what to expect. I just didn't know how hard it was going to be or how the body was going to react to it. So
yeah.
It's quite a funny story actually, because that was at the XL, wasn't it? The first one we did.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember just pushing myself so hard that when I came out, I'd never really pushed myself that hard before, and I came out and I genuinely I thought I was going to die. There was nothing wrong with me at all. It's just I hadn't had my heart rate that high in a long, long time. And it was like, I actually remember calling my mum, asking her if I should do anything. My mum works in the NHS.
Did
And I was like, because I'm like diabetic as well, I get all these little worries about, oh, is something wrong, you know?
Yeah. What did she say to you?
She basically just told me to man up.
You're going to be okay.
She said, yeah, just go and have some water and hydration and lay down for a bit and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, I found it obviously really difficult, but like that, the feeling during it, and then especially like crossing the line and the atmosphere of the event and stuff was definitely what made me want to go again. It was, although that was obviously, you know, the pain of it being really hard and all that went away so quickly. Like a couple of hours later, I was
that feeling of
back out there again.
That feeling of pain didn't put you off them, obviously.
No, not at all. Because I feel like a lot of people focus on that before they've experienced it, and it's like, I mean, anytime you push yourself to do something new, it's going to be uncomfortable in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. I mean, I probably did it a bit too much. Then that's just my fault. It doesn't have to be like that. But by doing that and then sort of overcoming it so quickly, you sort of feel like that small price, I've gained so much more out of it. Yeah. I've got a lot more confidence and just excitement around, you know, going again. So
yeah, totally agree with you there. In terms of like pushing yourself, might feel uncomfortable, you get more comfortable when you start doing things a bit more. Just like starting a podcast. Episode 7 now. Oh no, this is episode number 8. But I don't know if I sound it, but I definitely feel a lot more comfortable doing this. It's quite out of my comfort zone, but I feel like I'm learning a lot more stuff and going into it a bit more, you know, prepared as such.
Yeah.
So just like anything in life. Cool. So let's try a deep dive a little bit more into your training. So I know we've done a few different fitness competitions, but we'll just stick referring mostly to Hyrox.
Yeah.
How did your training change and adapt when you started training towards Hyrox? So you started signing up for the Hyrox competitions. How has your training adapted to that?
So it's taken a lot of forms, really. I think due to the fact that when we first started doing it, it was quite a new thing, not only to us, but a lot of people in fitness in general. There was a lot of, like, as with anything, there's stuff all over the internet of like, oh, this is what you should do, that's what you should do. Obviously, I put my trust in yourself and the gym here, and I think a lot of us have sort of like learned as we've gone along. But then like having yourself as the sort of spearhead of that, if you like. It gives you sort of good confidence. So when we first started training, obviously we sort of tried to do a little bit more running, but more not simulations as such, but more like getting used to running and workouts and that high intensity sort of stuff over and over again. And we were just talking about this before the podcast, weren't we, about how that's changed now, and my training now has more adapted to, after a few races, I sort of learned that my running is where I need to improve, or was where I needed to improve. And then I've sort of split up my training now, so I'm probably like 70% running focused, and then 30% like strength and conditioning type work, with less of the high intensity, Hyrox specific type workouts.
Do you enjoy that change now? You're doing a little bit more low intensity interval training with your more running now. Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, because it feels a lot more like, so I'm recovering better from sessions, and I'm able to tailor where I push in sessions more. So a block of my running will be like easy running, and I never used to find running easy, no matter how slow I went. Like if I was doing anything more than a walk, it was hard. So whereas now I've been running enough that I can differentiate between the two, and then when I've got an interval session or a tempo session or something like that, I can push hard and knowing I've got an easy run coming up, because it will be easy, because I'll make it easy. Obviously still got like a long way to go. I think you can always improve. So and I'm by no means still the best runner. I've got a long way to go on that side, but I enjoy it more because of that, because the sessions feel more more regularly successful. Whereas with the older style of training, it would be a mental battle a lot of the time.
You feel like you're burning yourself out more potentially.
Yes, and it was very rare that I would come into a session feeling good enough to go that hard for the whole thing. And if I did, after it, for the next 3 or 4 days, I'd be completely knackered.
By doing that, do you find like you're enjoying the strength work now, like balancing about having the more running and doing that strength work still, but do you find like, because you're recovering better, just backing off that intensity of your training, that you're enjoying the strength work when you do the strength work?
Yeah, a lot more. And I've noticed a lot more improvement. I mean, like top end numbers of things haven't gone up massively, but just the way I feel when I'm training now, I feel a lot more in it, as opposed to just surviving it. And that's the big thing. So I think a lot of people feel like that when they first come to the gym and start doing stuff. You do have to go through that period of just sort of surviving, don't you? And then
it's a bit uncomfortable.
And then it starts to make sense. And I think that's where I'm sort of at now. I've just figured out what works for me.
The more you do something, whether it's training or something else, you just learn more about yourself, don't you? And how things feel. So that makes sense. What's been your biggest challenges in terms of mentally and physically with your training or in competitions? Have you found, obviously you changed your training slightly, but have you found like it difficult mentally to try and back off or try and push yourself at certain things? Or just
so understanding where you are actually at and trying to ignore the noise from elsewhere, if you like. So like I said before about there being a lot of stuff online and everyone's trying to promote this is the way to do it. And when you're in a position where you're trying to figure out what's good for your body and what's going to help you progress, that's quite a challenge to not deviate from a plan that might seem quite boring.
That's the key. Like with obviously personal training should be personal towards that person. So that's for if you wanted a program to follow that's personal to you, then you're not going to find it in a general program online, are you? Because they're all generalised.
But those general programs are brilliant, aren't they, for getting people through the door and getting them started. And I think everyone needs to start there and then go on that journey of like learning what do you actually want, because you don't know what you want out of anything until you start doing it. And then another thing is probably a mental challenge. I've always struggled, and this goes right back to my motocross days. I've struggled mentally with like race day anxiety around stuff. I had it more so when I used to race bikes, and I feel like that was because of the danger aspect.
Yeah.
You don't quite have that with Hyrox and stuff. You're not going to get, someone running away.
You don't need to wear a helmet for it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So that's true enough, isn't it? Most people don't even wear a t-shirt. But I do, or initially I did still get it a lot with racing Hyrox, and I would find that I could really feel comfortable in the gym with what I'm doing and be confident. And then the moment I set foot on the floor, it just all went to pot.
Yeah. I think that's quite common with most people. I think it's normal for people to get those butterflies or nerves, a bit of anxiety during comps. But talk us about how that feels. Like, how is it? Would you say it's a serious thing or not? Or nothing to really worry about? Or
no, I wouldn't say it's anything to worry about. Obviously, in the moment, it feels horrible.
Yeah.
But
does
it doesn't last for the entire event. It's just that initial getting there, getting set up, and getting going.
Yeah.
And then once you do that, it's a case of, well, what was I worried about? And going back to the motocross thing, that was exactly the same there as well. It would be every time I would sit on a starting gate, I would just say to myself, I literally hate this. I'm terrified. Why am I sitting here with these other 40 guys that all just pretty much want to kill me? Why am I doing this? This isn't fun. But then when you start your bike up and you get going, it's like, okay, I do quite enjoy this. This is good, You sort of forget about that, and it's the same with anything. So, yeah.
So you've done a few comps, like a few Hyroxes now. Have you developed any habits or tips and tricks to help you manage that a bit better in terms of feeling the anxiety?
What's specific to Hyrox?
Yeah.
So the one thing I do that I didn't do for the first couple of races I did was in Hyrox. If you've never been before, it's you're in the warm-up area, and then you'll go into a big Red Bull pen with a countdown timer on.
Yeah.
There'll also be a timer just outside that pen where you sort of go into and your start wave. And your first couple of races, you're G'd up with sort of excitement and nerves and all the rest of it, and you go in there too early. And I think on my first race, I was in there nearly 10 minutes before my actual start time.
Yeah.
And they're playing the music and they're G'ing you up in there, and it really just doesn't help at all.
No,
because
it's hard to get your own little zone.
Yeah, I think on my watch, I checked my heart rate before my first race, and I was standing still, and it was at 164. So that just goes to show you that
at the start of the race.
Yeah. So my tip or trick, if you like, is I watch the clock outside of the start pen, and I literally don't walk into the pen until there's 5 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And so I don't ever stop in that start pen. I just walk through it.
Yeah.
And that helps me just regulate at the start and not go out too
just not get
crazy, and then it allows me to build into the race. And then I guess another one is, obviously you've been to the events, the atmosphere that's in there. There's thousands of people, there's music, there's loads going on, people racing all the time. So if you spend too long in there, say you're races later in the day or something, if you're in there hours before and you stay there, then the same thing's going to happen. You're just going to get nervous energy, and by the time you get to the start line, you're just going to be deflated. So I spend as much time outside of the arena as possible and just going for my race, and then that's it. Which is obviously hard when you go with 10 other people and you want to watch people and support people. If they're all before you, it's like, oh god, I've got to be in here the whole time. But
I think we all recognise that the ones, obviously, the people that we've gone with before in competitions, that, if people have walked off, and I think they haven't said it, they just want their own space before they race, but we all realise that's what they need, because we all need that. I'm similar. I obviously get the nervous energy for when you start a competition, but I'll try and do similar to things what you do in terms of trying to stay out of that that zone at the start, so I'm not caught up in that bubble. Just try and to take a step away from it. Even when I warm up, I don't even warm up in the warm-up or area. I try and do it by myself, and just try and remind myself, I'm going to be okay. Might sound silly, but just trying to do positive affirmations with myself that I'm fit enough to do the workout because I've done it before. I've done it in the gym many times. Just try and remind myself not go too fast too soon. Then just try and enjoy it. Just try and get those. I try and think of some actionable words that help me. Might just be one word I'll just try and repeat to myself just to get myself in a better mindset, ready.
Yeah, and the more you do as well, and like we were talking about earlier about breaking your training down into different things. So since we've done that, obviously we now do like the track sessions, for example, with Paul, where he's given us specific like running cues. So like, elbows in, that sort of thing. Driving with the arms, don't hold your arms too high, things like that.
Yeah.
When I'm racing and things start to get a little bit, too much, it's just like, okay, well, if I just focus on that, I can't focus on too many things at once. I'm a bit simple when it comes to that. So if I just go, right, are my elbows in, like, am I holding my hands too high? Suddenly I've covered another 200 meters just thinking about that.
And you're focusing more on technique, form, and you're not going too out of it.
Yeah,
in terms of blowing yourself out and burning yourself out, which you have done before, Jack, haven't you? Would you like to just talk about your one or two incidents that you've gone out too fast, too soon? I've been generous, yeah.
How long you got? Yeah.
And what happened when you've put too much in it too soon?
So I guess we could talk about. What should we talk about? Birmingham. I guess we could talk about. So that was my third Hyrox. After the first Hyrox, probably just following, like I say, all the excitement and loving the event so much and really wanting to go again, I set myself a bit of what I now understand was a very ambitious target. My first race, I finished in 1 hour and 24 minutes. And I said, I could easily get that under 1:15, which at the time I thought was reasonable until I did my second race, which I actually got a PB and I ran a 1:21.
Yeah.
And I was livid. I was absolutely livid. And now you think about it, going back to your quick fire questions, my biggest regret is I ruined that event for myself. I should have been really happy with that. And the effort that I put in, but I wasn't because I set myself I was too focused on a number. But I'm the sort of person that I've said that and I put it out there. So it's like, okay, well, I can't not do that now. I just have to maybe reassess how long it's going to take. So naturally I said, oh, well, Birmingham, that's the next one. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Birmingham was a 1:35. But that puts into context what happened there. But yeah, I think I just went out with a bit of maybe emotion of what had happened before.
So where did it all go wrong in the race?
First step.
Try to go out and find.
Yeah, no, I went out on the first run just attacked it like as hard as I could. Which was obviously not the right thing to do. I know that now. And I think by the time I got to the ski, my heart rate was, I was 0.5. I was just completely gone. And then from there, it's just, once you get to that level, it's just so hard to recover, especially when you've got stuff to do, when you've got other runs to do and haven't even got past the sleds yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, just sort of grinding through it. And, I think it made it more difficult, and it's not her fault, but my current partner, she didn't really know a lot about Hyrox, and that's the first time she'd ever come to watch. And obviously I'd said to her, like, oh, this is my goal, this is what I'm going to go for, blah, 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 blah. And then as you're going around, you sort of feel like, oh, this is a little bit embarrassing. And obviously she didn't care in the slightest about the time. She was just sort of like soaking up the environment, like, oh, this is quite cool. But
if I knew, I should have tried to find her and then told her to say, "Oh, you've let me down, Jack."
Yeah.
What have you done?
So you said you were good at this. Yeah. But no, that was like that was probably the worst one I've ever had. I've had other times where I've struggled to just keep a lid on it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm better at that now.
Yeah.
And
Setting yourself more lower expectations, realistic expectations.
yeah, in a way,
Being ambitious still,
in
better
a
than
way,
rain.
but like I find when I don't set myself any expectations, things seem to go really well.
Yeah.
So I did go under 115 in Vienna, but my focus wasn't on Hyrox at all at that point. Like, it was because we were going away. Like, sounded like something fun to do. I was like, yeah, I'll come along.
Yeah.
And sign up.
Now that's quite a big difference, like 135, 115. Obviously, every course is slightly different, but it's more or less the same in terms of, that's a big difference. It's not going to be 20 minutes difference as such.
Yeah.
Do you think you're as a more of a mental achievement then, rather than physical? Because would you say you weren't too different in terms of your physical fitness, but you were just in a better place mentally because you felt like you didn't put any pressure on yourself?
I was physically fitter because when I ran that 114, I was midway through a marathon training block. Yeah. So it's like I'd focused a lot on running, and it was my predominant thing. And that obviously highlighted that running was probably where I could make the most gains, if you like.
Yeah.
But the 135 in Birmingham was like, that wasn't a true reflection of my fitness at that time, because obviously I'd run 121 before that. So that was purely just based off of poor execution. And like another thing, like not preparing well on the day. So like the mindset going into it of just going for fun and not worrying too much about what happens.
Yeah. How much would you say the Hyrox comes down to strategy? So you can be as fit as you like, but in terms of strategy,
quite a lot. I mean, it depends how fit you are, doesn't it? Like if you're elite level fitness, then strategy is just that sort of icing on the top, because you could generally get around pretty quick with your fitness anyway. But when you're like my level, or if you're below my level, then it's a huge part, because if you can say to yourself, well, I know I can't run a 4 or 5 or even 6 minute kilometer, like I'm just going to break up the runs. And even if it was someone just new to the gym, like they could come in and go, well, I could get around that, and I could run the walks, and then just take my time on the stations. It's cool, because like you do see people out there doing that, don't you? Like people just want the challenge of just getting around, and it might take them 2.5, 3 hours or something like that, but that's their achievement and they've done it. So
once you've done 1 or 2, then you get a better idea of like how to pace it even better and strategize yourself. Like when I'd done my first one, in my head I was wanting to do a sub an hour in my first one, going to Hyrox. So I done.
There's always one.
There's always I done 105. So I was obviously disappointed. There's the first one I ever done, so I didn't expect to feel like after doing the sled push and the pull, but the sled push, that sort of took a lot out of my legs, because I gave it 100% more or less. I sort of maxed out on it as such. I think I was the second fastest out of 1,000 on the sled push, but that obviously affected my pacing for the rest, because I was breathing out my arse for the rest, just trying to get through to the end, which I managed. But I thought if I knew what I knew now, then I would have paced that differently, and maybe I would have got closer. But it'd be interesting but you've got to try these things first time. You just don't. People can tell you what they want, but you just don't know until you've experienced it yourself.
Do you know? And when I go to races now, and you're probably the same, like you will see people that are brand new to it doing those things, like running with the sled, or going out of the gates like about out of hell, like. And you just think
I'll see you in a couple of laps.
Yeah, you just think that, and you think it's not like that. You almost smile a bit, because you feel like that's good for them, because they're either going to be really fast, or they're going to learn, for next time, and they're going to improve based off of that. You just, unfortunately, that's one of the things you have to go through, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the lessons you've learned and mindset, have you carried any of that over to like everyday life outside the gym, or not really noticed? Or
I guess so. I mean,
like pacing the race differently? Have you paced life differently? Been more patient now you're being a dad?
Yeah,
Stuff like that?
that's a big thing. So obviously, when you become a parent, you have to put some priorities sort of in different places, sort of thing, and then being able to manage it still and still come to the gym and still train and do what I want to do, like, is important to me, not just for myself, but for like what I'm portraying to my kids, sort of thing. So balancing all of that. But yeah, like when you're younger and you don't have kids, you feel like everything's a race. Like you're not doing well enough, you're not got enough. You need to do this that, and the other. So it's I guess you could say that as a skill learned that you can carry across, whether you think about it like that or not.
Yeah.
And then just like a consistency of stuff, not being, not understanding that you're not going to get things overnight. Things do take time, and they don't. Sometimes they never materialize, but that's also all right, I guess. And just generally, But then again, I think you'd probably learn that just as you grow up anyway. Maybe just a bit slower.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah. In terms of the community and competition, do you find it easier having that community to train with, having someone to like training in the groups and having other people sign up for competitions as well? Do you like that, or would you prefer just to train by yourself?
Yeah, I wouldn't do any of it really. I mean, you just look back to the start. Like if it wasn't for you mentioning it, I'm going on putting this under my nose. What about this? I wouldn't even know really what it was. And if I'd have come across it online, I probably wouldn't have looked into it really, or wouldn't have understood it enough to pursue it. So, and how it's obviously built here within our gym, it's great. I mean, again, go back to Birmingham and that horrendous race I had. I was done after that. I genuinely thought that any effort I made in the gym was just not going. It just wasn't the sport for me. And I was looking at it all wrong. I was just looking at it like that failure that defined me, and that was it. And that's when Julia piped up and said, "Do you want to do a doubles in London?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." And then we did it, and that was the complete opposite. I mean, our time was pretty good, but just the enjoyment of it and not worrying about the time. And that's probably the first doubles I did with Julia was probably the most fun event I've ever done.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I don't know if she'd say the same.
We'll ask her when she comes on.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask next? Yes, about training in the gym with the community. So we've got quite a few members here that have done Hyrox. Does it inspire you and motivate you, inspire you more to train when you see other people training as well, like for their same competition, even though they're in a different ability level to yourself, whether they're above or below? Does that inspire you and does that motivate you? Do you get more out of your training by seeing that, or do you not?
Yeah, definitely, because there's different ways to look at it. So you've got the people like Julie we have on the podcast, for example. Like she laughs about it when we say it to her, but I'm 30 years old, and when I'm her age, if I'm doing half the stuff she's doing and it's half in as good as shape and as strong as she is, then I'll be happy. And so that's a motivator in itself. Like when I'm having bad days in the gym, I just think, come on, Jack, like you should be in your prime and just get on with it. So I feel like that helps. And obviously she's not the only one in that sort of category. So it's good to have members like that. And then at the other end of the scale, it's like not other end of the scale, but seeing people come in and do things for like the first time. It keeps you level headed, it keeps you on a level of like, that was probably me like 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago.
We're seeing people achieve, obviously completing the Hyrox event, just having that mental and physical resilience to keep going. Like I'll use Victoria as an example. She doesn't know what she signed up to half the time, but she'll just go and throw herself into it. And it's like such an inspiration just to see.
She's getting so much out of it.
Exactly, and she obviously the first it was the first Hyrox she done. She ran 3 laps instead of 2 every time, didn't she? So she done
5.5
instead of running 8 kilometers, she ran about 12. So it took her an hour longer than it could have done, but she kept on going and just went all the way to the end.
Yeah,
and you just got to you just got to be so motivated, inspired by stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was in London. When Longy did London, when you did doubles with Michael. I remember Victoria went to that one and did individual.
Yeah.
And we were watching her go around, and I just distinctly remember her coming around the running track and spotting me and it's me, Jess, and Livy, I think. And she just goes, "I haven't stopped yet." It was just like absolutely beaming. It was like, that's really nice to see. Like
seeing people just like that, and other examples of just being so happy and chuffed and proud of themselves, which they should be.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you've ever thought about, if I was annoyed at myself, I shouldn't have been, because look how these people are so proud and happy with what they've achieved and just done.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, you're more than like that now, obviously, but at the time when you've done your bad race as such, you probably didn't feel like that at the time, but you've learned from that. A more positive outlook.
Absolutely, yeah. So community is one of the best things. And then it also, to add on to that, if you look at like recent examples, because obviously I'm more of a runner now, should we say? I'm not full on runner, but more of a runner.
Yeah, be careful what you say.
You can get sucked into this travel thinking, oh yeah, my training's going really well, I'm doing really well, I'm getting there. And then you've got people like Shell, for example, going and doing ultra marathons and just crushing them, and it's like, okay, wow, like that's inspirational. Like, there's more levels I need to keep going. That's the good thing about here, is we've just got such a wide spectrum of people, haven't we? Of
100%.
Abilities and mindsets and all sorts.
Yeah,
all just seem to work.
Yeah, this helps to support and bounce off each other, which is great to see.
Yeah.
So let's help the listeners with some takeaways from Jack, shall we?
Okay.
Do you have any advice for someone who feels nervous about their first competition? Don't learn from you.
No, the nerves will never outweigh the post-race feeling.
Nerves are normal.
It's an event where generally, unless something goes horrendously wrong, 99% of the time you are going to finish it.
Yeah.
So if you're nervous about it, think about why you're nervous about it. Are you nervous because you're putting a pressure on yourself for a particular time, or to do one thing or something like that? And just break it down as, you just go into it as, I have no idea what's going to happen right now, but nothing bad's going to happen.
I sometimes now try and look from, I try and look at the worst case scenario rather than trying to set myself the best case scenario. So instead of like thinking, I want to get to this time, I want to go sub, blah, 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 instead of think to the worst case, like, am I going to die? Probably not. Am I going to finish? I probably will, but if I don't, is it the end of the world? It's just like, even if you do halfway and you got injured or you just can't go any further, it's not the end. You're still learning about yourself, aren't you? So
look at, like, I know it wasn't your first race, but look at Vienna, for example. So you flew to a completely different country for a trip away with friends, all built around going to a Hyrox and doing a Hyrox, and you were injured, weren't you? So you made the last minute call not to race, but just ran to get your medal.
Didn't even run.
Walked through to get your medal. So you went all the way there and didn't even complete the race, but you still got something out of it, in the sense of like part of the community for that long weekend. Saw another part of the world. And had a trip out, sort of thing. There's always something to be gained.
You've got to make those right decisions for you as well. So I don't think I would have got more out of it by competing when you're injured.
No.
Because then it would have set me back longer. So it's just making that tough, being disciplined decisions.
Yeah.
That's right for you. Why can people benefit from training for a Hyrox?
How can they benefit? So, well, everything we've talked about really in chunks. So you've got your mental aspect of it. It can promote a bit of like self-belief in yourself if you haven't got that already.
Yeah.
If you have, then you don't really need to worry about the question, do you?
I've obviously seen the members here doing Hyrox, and then after that we've had so many people now going out a lot more to do runs, like yourself, obviously. And obviously we've created a run club now, haven't we? So in terms of like, I know some people say they're not a runner. I've heard that loads of times, but we've seen those people going out just to run and just reaffirming that you don't have to go out all guns blazing, just like a nice casual run, gentle jog, so you can have a conversation, so you're building that mental fitness up. For me, that's what the biggest thing I've seen in terms of like the benefits of people training towards a Hyrox, because they've gone out and socialising more while still working in their zone too and getting their runs in, as well as still work around their strength training. But that's the biggest thing that I've seen change for people's training.
I think another thing as well is it's as opposed to like CrossFit, where you can get a bit wrapped up in the amount of the constant varying and amount of different movements and stuff. Obviously, it's all very impressive stuff, but depending on, if you're new to competition-based thing, it's sort of a bit daunting, like not knowing what's going to be coming up, not knowing if you've got the particular skill in that area. And some of it is obviously very high skill, isn't it? Whereas with Hyrox, it's more just about work rate as opposed to any sort of skill level. Because most people can push something, pull something.
That's the thing I was going to mention as well. Like Hyrox is a lot more easily accessible for the everyday person, athlete. Because you push in, pull in, all like you say, everyday movements. Whereas CrossFit's a lot more skilled in terms of like, if you go to the RX levels, then you're looking at double unders that could take you a long time to progress to. Obviously, putting heavier weights above your head, and it's a lot more technical. And obviously, people come to the gym. If they're just starting a gym, they might be if they're quite competitive, like myself, they want to try and do the workouts, whereas necessarily they might have to do a bit more foundation building themselves up to that before putting themselves in that positions where they might cause themselves injury because they're not that mobile yet to put 40 kilos above their head. So whereas obviously Hyrox is a lot more easily accessible for the everyday beginner athlete. You can just start pushing, pulling, working the ski, walking, jogging, running. For me, it's a lot more accessible for people, and there's a lot less technical skills wise.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing, is that you will benefit in all areas of your life because it will build you functionally, stronger, just to do everyday movements. Like, when have you ever, picked up your washing basket and done a snatch? Like, you haven't, have you? But I would love to be able to do like a heavy snatch above my head. I think they look cool as hell, but it's not an everyday requirement, is it? So for people that are new to the gym stuff, most people aren't here to become a professional athlete, are they? They're here
That's why I made the decision, because when I first opened up the gym, I got my CrossFit qualification because the intention was to make it a CrossFit gym, but obviously I'll look at the community, the people, the members, and what their actual goals are. Do they actually want to go and compete as a Hyrox athlete? A CrossFit athlete? 9 times out of 10, more than that, it's a no. People want to look better, feel better. If they want to indulge themselves into the community, then they can do that other ways with like Hyrox and other competitions and just throwdowns that we do here and stuff. Whereas CrossFit's obviously very technical, working up towards something. It might takes a lot of patience, resilience, where people just don't want to do that or have the motivation to do that. Whereas
there are the outliers, aren't there? There are the select few that do have that commitment and do have that underlying skill or the commitment to learn that skill, and they do very well at it. And that's obviously why the sport exists, and it's great. And I enjoy watching it. I love watching CrossFit.
Well, most of us here, we do enjoy it, don't we? And we still obviously dabble in it still, but
to a degree.
Obviously, for the majority of the population, it's just easier accessible to access the Hyrox movements.
Yeah,
I've always feel a bit more involved.
I've always disagreed with this because initially, and even to this day, there's this whole online sort of segregation, isn't there, between Hyrox and CrossFit, and it's a bit of a competition. And I just feel like they can't really be compared. They're not the same in any sense.
No.
They're both impressive in their own rights.
Yeah.
And yes, CrossFit is a lot higher skilled, but I don't think the athletes of either should be compared at all.
No.
But it's difficult when you keep getting athletes crossing over and doing both, and it just creates more arguments, but they're all good in their own way.
Absolutely. Finish off, do you have one tip for people that they could apply immediately to their training?
Immediately to their training.
Ooh. It's a tough one because obviously you're sort of talking to all sorts of someone that might just be starting a gym, an experienced gym goer 3 times, 4 times a week.
Yeah, no matter what whether it's Hyrox, CrossFit, general health, anything, just start running. But don't think like we said earlier, don't think that running is sprinting. It's not, everyone falls into that trap. I was the same before I started Hyrox. And just start doing it because it does get easier, and I feel like it has a lot of carryover into anything you want to do. If it's strength training you want to improve on, having a stronger heart and lungs is ultimately going to allow you to train harder in the gym. If it's competitions, it's going to obviously help you as well. So, and mentally, I think running is just like a super drug. And no one believes you when you say that, but they're the people that don't run. Yeah. And everyone thinks, oh yeah,
I find running my best medication.
Yeah.
And then doing as a group, and I run group, I've got someone coming with me now, like talking is therapy. So doing both at the same time, it's just it's a win-win.
Yeah. And so if it wasn't something you could naturally do on your own without any, assistance, then it would be illegal. Yeah. That's what I think.
I hear a lot of people say, I'm not a runner, but they can walk.
Yeah.
So just walk. And then gradually you start going into power walk, and then gradually if you want to go into a slight trot for 30 seconds, then walk again. It's just having that low expectations. People might not feel like they can run, but it doesn't mean they have to run to start off with. It's just like getting started and moving. But that's a good one to end on. Do you have a truth and a lie for us to finish off?
A truth and a lie.
I'll pause it.
Pause, let me think.
And we're back, but you didn't know that because I just pressed pause. So
Thinking time
it felt like a while.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm going to finish off with Jack's. He's going to say 3 statements. 1 will be true, 2 will be a lie, and you can comment to say which you think is true. So over to Jack.
Okay, so statement 1 is my current back squat PB is 160 kilos. Statement 2 is that when I used to race motocross, I once threw up in my helmet on the start line and had to race the entire race with a little bit of sick in the bottom of my goggles. And statement 3 is that I have done a backflip on a push bike before and not crashed. So
wonderful. And there we go. Thank you, Jack.
Cheers, mate.
For a pod. Thanks for listening, and we shall see you. Well, we won't see you, but you'll see me and someone else next week.
Thanks for tuning in to What the Health. Until next time, stay strong, stay healthy, and keep moving forward.